Okay, hello again. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but I think now it's all fixed, and I am so happy to be with you today. Um, we're going to work on something very specific today, and that's your brain power. So, in today's workshop, Unlock Your Brain Power workshop, I am so excited to explore this fascinating world of your brain health and your cognitive function with you today. So, I want to introduce you first to my PowerPoint presentation, but I really hope that you have your notes with you so you can take some notes, specifically things that I will be suggesting for you to do. And so let's get it going. So in today's fast-paced world, the mental clarity and the focus are not really just a word that we use. It's really essential to navigate life effectively. This comprehensive guide will give you proven techniques and methods and things that you can do to make your brain much more sharp. Our brain power influences every aspect of our lives. And for our productivity at work, to our relationships and overall well-being, we are all affected by our brain function. So by understanding how you can optimize your brain, that we can really unlock our potential and live much more fulfilling life. And that's what I want to do today in this presentation. So memory is really fascinating. It's amazing on how it works. And if you ever read books or saw how the brain is made, it's just incredible how many things you can learn on this 3 kilogram mass, the 3 pounds mass that we have, which is our brain. So let's first start with what it means by brain power and why, and I'll get to the fact of why we forget. Brain power really refers to our cognitive abilities, including memory, attention, and even problem-solving techniques. The cognitive function has a wide range of mental processes, such as learning, reasoning, decision-making, creativity, and it's what allows us to think, understand, and interact with the world. When we talk about the memory, we have three different types of memory: sensory memory, short-term memory, and long-term memory. Sensory memory first is what the senses are, really retains the impression of a sensor, and that's what passes to the short term. Short-term memory passes to a long term, and I'll touch on this a little bit in more detail, but I want to also differentiate the difference between explicit and implicit memory, which has to do with the long-term memory. So long-term memory is made up of two different parts. The explicit memory is also known as the declarative memory, which includes the memories that are available in our consciousness. The explicit memory can really divide into other categories. I don't want to go and teach you all that. I do that in my brain classes. But other than that, the implicit memory are those that are mostly unconscious. These are the type of things that you do in terms of memory, which involve memory of body movement, how we use different things in the environment, like driving a car or using a computer. That is your implicit, because you're not really thinking about it. It's like second nature. It happens naturally. So let's also differentiate the difference between recall and recognition. Recall is when you have to retrieve some information from your short response, whereas recognition usually happens for a long targets. So I'll give you an example in terms of tests. A recall would be something like a short response test, when you are taking a test and you have to present all that information like an essay. Recognition is when you have a multiple choice test. You have different options and you're trying to recognize which of these options is the correct one in terms of the questions that you are asked for. So before I go into details of different memory techniques, memory processes through 3 steps: encoding, which is processing the information into the memory system; storage, that's the retention of our encoding material over time; and then retrieval is when the process of actually getting that information. In our brain, we have the hippocampus, and that is what responsible for short-term memory. And actually, last week I read a book about the brain, and there was a surgery that was performed on an individual who had seizures, and the doctors, that was years ago, the doctors had to remove, or decided to remove, his hippocampus, which was considered to be the one causing those seizures. The patient actually felt better with the seizures, but what happened was that he lost his short-term memory. Actually, if you would go and speak to him, you would have to say your name again and again every 7 seconds. And why 7 seconds? Because this is the retention time of the short-term memory. Now, think about a scenario. Let's say you walking in a room and you decided to go to your bedroom to take something. By the time you walk to your bedroom, you forgot what it is that you were there for. If you ever look at the time that it took you between the time you decided to go to your bedroom and by the time you arrived there and you forgot what it is, it's usually 7 to 9 seconds. There are many different ways of retrieve that information back. One would be go back to where you were and retrace your steps. And most of the time you do remember that. And again, think about that situation in your everyday life. Did you ever had a situation where you go back and then you say, oh, that's what I needed, and then you go back to your room? So that is because of the hippocampus. If you had so many different thoughts at the same time, your brain doesn't always retain them. One great method of remembering something, and a good example would be, let's say you park your car in a parking lot. It's a big parking lot, and you want to remember where you parked. Say it out loud. And when you say it out loud to yourself, it actually allows you to remember. And in fact, as a college professor, when I teach my lectures and when I ask questions for the students, I actually count to 7 before I give them the answer, because 7 seconds is what it takes for almost every individual, give or take 2 seconds, to recollect and recall from your short-term memory and basically filter out the information that you have until you get to the answer that you are looking for. So what I want to do today is really go through different strategies and help you, give you some ways to improve your memory capabilities. Brain tricks are definitely the way to go. And what are brain tricks? These are different strategies, different, I want to say games, but are really not games, that allow you to reinforce your memory. And I'll give you many examples before we end today. But it's basically a strategy that allows you to recall different things and train your brain to remember different information. Flashcards are great brain tricks or study methods that basically have 2 sides, one with a fact, the other is the answer. That reinforces and makes your memory easier. Sleep is one of the most important things to enhance your memory, and that is helping you to avoid brain fog. Because when you get to sleep and you sleep deep, you get to a quality sleep. That's what I was saying. When you have a quality sleep, it's really essential for your cognitive function because your brain health dependent on your sleep. During sleep, our brain consolidates all the memories, the processing of the information, and repairs and even regenerates cells. Deep sleep, which is the NREM stages, and if you heard of that, that's great. These are the different stages of your sleep. The REM sleep actually fuels your creativity by linking unrelated information. So prioritizing 7 to 9 hours of restful sleep in a screen-free, somewhere that there's no TV in the background, comfortable environment with darkness and quietness is really the key to unlock your brain's full potential for memory enhancement, impacting so many different aspects of life. So rest really clears your brain clutter and reduces your brain fog. Exercise of the brain. I will give you a few exercises today. These are different exercises similar to physical exercise that you do. It really activities that get your brain into a lot more oxygen working and really gives you a lot of good quality memory. Regular physical exercise not just improves your physical health of the brain, but also enhances its function. So exercise promotes the release of chemicals. Those chemicals support the growth of your new brain cells and improve blood flow for the brain. Even a brief walk of 15 minutes can actually, when you don't have enough time to do more, can actually yield substantial benefit. Just as your muscle grows stronger with use of it, your brain thrives on stimulation. If you engage in addition to the walk and the sleep, in puzzles, quizzes, crosswords, and different activities, you significantly improve your brain function. So explore something new craft, new language, or something that would just enhance your brain and rejuvenate your brain cells. Eating right. A correct diet is really essential for your brain. And when I say eating right, it really depends, because proper nutrition plays a crucial role in supporting your brain health. Food rich in antioxidant, omega-3, fatty acids, and vitamins and minerals are really particularly beneficial for cognitive function. So if you say there's a saying, you are what you eat. And if you extend that into influence of your brain, you will definitely understand that in your memory, nutrition has a lot to do. Healthy breakfast improves the performance. Foods that are high in saturated fat are actually not as good for your brain function. They are very negative for your brain function. So eating right, nutrition, omega-3, I think I covered in my previous live that foods that have omega-3, such as fish, are really, really healthy and productive for you. Train your brain. A good memory is not just one that you just acquire the skill and that's it. It's something that happens over time. So you got to do it all the time. Reading, some holistic approaches, a lot of different activities that you do really does enhance your brain. So let's go through some of effective boosting. Actually, before I do that, I forgot. It's good that I'm looking through my notes. Meditation. Mindfulness and meditation practices are really powerful tools for reducing your stress, because stress is a #1 cause for your brain malfunction and reduce of a function of the brain. So there's various memory enhancing techniques that help you, such as visualizing and things that you do with repetition, improving memory retention, recalling, and I will give you that as the practice for the next activity. So I apologize, I just need 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. So we're going to dive into the different practices, which is what I created for you guys today. So I want to give you some brain boost activities that would challenge your brain and help you restore or help you work on your memory as you go forward. So first of all, let's try this challenge of check out your neighborhood. Do you remember where things are when you look around your neighborhood? Do you remember where things are? Where's the hydrant? How many houses are in one block? Where's the first door of this house, or things like that? So what I want you to do is look around, because sometimes we look around, but we don't actually see things, right? So when you walk around your neighborhood, do you always recognize those little things that I was mentioning? You can do this before you go outside. Take a piece of paper and write to yourself the following questions. How many street lights are on your block? See if you remember that. How many fire hydrants are there? What color is the house or the apartment right next to yours? That's a simple exercise. You see it almost every day. How many people in your neighborhood have green lawn in the front? How many trees are there at a house or the apartment next to your place? Are there house numbers on the sides of the houses? Are there mailboxes at each house? Or are there groups of mailboxes by your house? Do any of your neighbors have basketball hoops? How many windows are there in the front of your home? Are there any rose bushes in the front yard of your neighbor? How many cars or trucks are parked in the driveway of your next door neighbor? What color is the roof of your house or apartment next to you? And you can see that those questions can really be adjusted. You can ask any questions and really tackle in your memory and see what you remember. But that doesn't just work with your neighborhood. It can work with your refrigerator. Before you open the refrigerator, try to picture it. Do you know what's in there? Do you remember where it is? These are the little things that really help enhances your brain. So imagine that you're standing right in front of your refrigerator at home. How many things can you name that are inside of it? Try to make a list, as many items as you can and then check the list, right? Open the refrigerator and check that. You can also do that with medicine cabinet, with items on a wall, inside your wallet, or even in a junk drawer. See if you remember that junk drawer that you throw things. What do you have in there? Make a list and check your memory. Another activity is find someone who. Look around in the room and find someone who, and if you can't find anyone who has this character, just skip to the next question. Look in the room and find someone who wears brown glasses. Find someone who's wearing who has a water bottle. Find someone who's wearing a button-down shirt. Find someone who has brown eyes. Find someone who is wearing white tennis shoes. Is there anyone that has a wristwatch? Find someone in the room that is wearing denim jeans. Find someone who has a multiple color shirt or blouse. Find someone who's wearing an article of clothing with a logo. Find someone who's not wearing socks. Find someone who's wearing more than one ring. Find someone who's wearing a hat. Find someone who's using a pencil, wearing a sweatshirt, has a cup of coffee. All of these things you can do as you go on a train or whenever you have a cluster of many different people around you. These activities really make your brain think. You really reinforce and you identify things, and you can really do this activity almost every day, everywhere. When you're on the bus, when you're in the park, when you're waiting for an appointment and you have people around you, test your brain. Help yourself recall different things. Let's look at this picture. Take 30 seconds as you look at that picture. And now write down, what do you remember? What did you see? List all the items that you saw. And of course, this video will be up on YouTube and also on my page, so you're able to go back and check your memory. Another activity is an opposite word, which is known as the antonyms. An antonym is a word that is opposite of the meaning. So for example, if I say short, you say long. If I say big, you say little. If I say white, you say black. These activities really help your creative thinking. Your brain goes into really a lot of thinking to recall words, but also fit in whatever the word is. So let's try this together. I'm going to say a word, and you can have a piece of paper and write the opposite of it, or just pause this and redo it later. Salt, floor, encourage, awkward, enemy, monarchy, hero, argue, ancient, fearful, freedom, arrive, artificial, voracious. All of these words have an opposite word. So for example, if you want to go back, why don't you actually, before I'm giving you the answers, why don't you write it right under this video, what your opposite words are? Okay, and then we'll compare and see. Healthy food is a big contributor, as I mentioned before. So here is one recipe of blueberry pancakes for breakfast. They have high fiber and calcium, and they make your brain really, really boost in the morning. So breakfast is essential. And if you can avoid high sugars and increase the fiber and the calcium in your brain, you really make it so much more productive. So here are the ingredients. And in a medium bowl, you can basically mix the flours, the baking powder, the sugar that you have. And of course, this is raw sugar. You can replace that with stevia if that's something you prefer. And then add the eggs and the soya milk and whisk it until combined. In a medium skillet over medium heat, melt the coconut oil and then pour or scoop, if you prefer, a pancake into the skillet. And then cook 2 to 3 minutes on each side until you have your desired texture. Top this with blueberries, and you are going to enjoy that because blueberries actually have also a great source of important vitamins into your brain. But maybe sometimes you want something to drink that is healthy for your brain. Ginger lemonade. Ginger has an anti-inflammatory compound, which is called gingerol. And this is not just delicious, it's also a very good healer. The lemonade won't cause your blood sugar to be very high, so that is actually very good. So juice the lemons using whatever you're using to juice your lemons, and then pour the juice into a pitcher. The ginger, juice the ginger, and add the juice to the pitcher as well, and then add stevia and pour additional water. Mix it, put some ice, and then use a mint if you would like for garnish. So with food, if you are interested in more recipes, I have a whole lot of recipes that would help and boost your brain, from soups to salads to snacks, things that really help enhance your memory as well. Other activities like meditation, listening to music, writing, painting, reading, all of these really, really increase and help your brain to work much better. But before we move on, it's really important that you also manage stress, because stress is optimal for your brain function. Techniques like deep breathing, meditation, time management can really help reduce your stress and improve your cognitive performance. So let's do another exercise. This is an exercise that I am taking from Jim Quick. And if you've heard of him, that's great. If you haven't, definitely look him up. He is, in my opinion, the best person out there for anything to do with your brain. And he teaches a lot of different techniques on how to keep your brain powered. So one of his exercises is really taking something with the earlobe. So you take your right hand, and I think I forgot to mention that the right side of your brain really manages your left side of the body, and the left side of your brain manages the right side of the body. So stand up, and I will just do it sitting, but you should do it standing up and repeat it daily. Grab your right lobe with the thumb and the finger on your left hand, and then do the same thing with the left arm to your earlobe, and then squat, right? So you go down and you count to 10, and then you go up. And as you go down, you breathe in, and as you go up, you breathe out. And you do that for anywhere between 1 and 3 minutes. Do it daily. You start with 1 minute, and then you increase it by increments of, I increase it by increments of 30 seconds, and then you can do it up to 3 minutes, and you can do it daily. You can do it several times a day. You can be amazed on how much sharper your brain would be. So, I want you to continue seek more exercises, and I can definitely help you there. So if you have any questions on other things that you can do or things that you can do to enhance your brain, feel free to shoot me a message. Learning opportunities can be enhanced by reading, learning something new. Always be interested in just challenging your brain. Intellectual challenge is what keeps your brain active, engaged, and constantly growing. So before we wrap up, let's just recap the key points that we had today. First, we talked about the different things that affect our brain stability, and that is the food, the stress. Then I've given you some strategies of how you can keep your brain well. That's meditation, sleeping well, and nutrition. And lastly, providing yourself a good exercise daily can definitely enhance and help your brain power. I encourage each and every one of you to take what you've learned today and start implementing some of these brain boosting strategies into your daily routine. Small changes can lead to significant improvement in your brain health over time. Thank you so much for joining me today and engaging this important conversation about your brain health. Remember, your brain is the most valuable asset, so take care of it and unlock your full potential. If you have any questions, feel free to write it down below or reach out to me, and I'll be happy to help. Until our educational journey crosses again, always remember that learning is a gateway to a bright future. See you next week. Thank you for joining me today.